back to Chickanic. Today we have a hyper tough push mower with a 4.5 horsepower Briggs & Stratton engine on it. Now whenever you go to buy a new mower, they put this engine on everything. They put it on this $89 hyper tough mower, they put it on the Murray self-propel $150 mower at Walmart, and it even goes on the $250 Husqvarna self-propel at Lowe's. So what everybody does is they buy this mower, or any mower, and it comes with this engine. They use it that one summer, they let it sit all winter, and it's not going to start the next year. All of them do the same thing. So what we're going to do today is show you how you can fix it all by yourself in about 10 minutes with a $13 part. For this project, you will need something to collect your gas in, carburetor cleaner, a 7mm and an 8mm socket, a 5/8 deep socket to take your spark plug out, a flathead, a pair of needle nose pliers, and a 596-521 jet assembly for the carburetor. First thing you're going to do is remove the spark plug from the engine. It is located on the front. You'll remove the spark plug boot, get your 5/8 deep socket wrench, and take out your spark plug. Next, you want to remove the air filter assembly. Grab the top of this prong right here, pull it off. Next you have two 7mm bolts and two 8mm bolts. We're going to remove the 8mm bolts. Now we're going to remove the two 7mm bolts. It is important to remember which bolt went in each slot, the 7mm bolts and the 8mm bolts. Once you've removed the 4 bolts, you can take the air filter base off. Now you're to the carburetor. The next step, we're going to take the old gas out of the tank. To remove the gas, you'll need to get your needle nose pliers and loosen the hose clamp that is next to the carburetor. Pull it on back. With your needle nose pliers, you're going to remove the fuel line from the carburetor and drain out the fuel. Try to keep pressure on the line. Squeeze tight so you don't leak out any gas, and drain it out. You'll want to remove the gas cap. Once you've removed the old gas, you can take off the carburetor. To get the carburetor off, you'll just pull it straight out. The only thing holding it to the engine is this throttle lever. You will turn it to its side and bring it on out. Now we have the carburetor off. To open up your carburetor, you have 2 more 7mm bolts. You will want to make sure that you don't get them mixed up with your other 7mm bolts that you pulled out previously. To get the bowl off of the carburetor, you'll take your flathead, get under this lip right here, and give it a little twist. Now we have the bowl off. Once you have the bowl off, most of the time we don't have to replace the needle. It's still fine. Float, it's still good. The culprit is this jet right here, which has a little tiny needle bearing inside that gets clogged up. The easiest way to do it is just replace it. You can try to clean it, and it does work sometimes, but If you don't want to go back inside of it again, just go ahead and replace the $13 part. To get this jet out, you'll get under the lip right here, lean against the side of the carburetor, and pop it on out. Now, when putting your carburetor back together, the only thing that you really need to pay attention to and make sure that it didn't come out of place is this little white insert inside. If it did, you will need to put it back in to get your jet to go seat correctly. You're going to grab your new jet, and you have this side right here, make it face towards you. This is the side that goes towards the engine. This is the intake side. You're going to put your new jet in and press on it firmly to get it to seat. That's it. When you go to put your bowl back on, you'll see an indentation on the inside. You want that to be where your jet goes up into. So you will place it like this, make sure to line your bolt holes up, and pop it back in. Now we're going to put our bolts back in. Now we're ready to put the carburetor back on. On top of it, you will see a hole on your throttle lever. That is where your throttle linkage will go back in. So we're going to put it on just the same way we took it off. We're going to grab the throttle linkage and we're going to turn it sideways to get it to go on that Z-bend. Put this white thing in between this bracket and go straight back with it. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and put my fuel line back on. And just press it closed. I'm going to return the clamp back up to keep the fuel line tight. We're going to put the air filter base back on. This part of your air filter base goes in this tube right here. Now we're going to put our two 7mm bolts and our two 8mm bolts back on the air filter base. Now we're going to put the air filter cover back on. Now we're going to put our spark plug back in. And last, reattach your boot. Now that everything's back together, we're done. Let's put some gas in it and see if it's going to run. All right, let's see if it's going to start. First, you're going to want to prime it.